Well, the debate between KASPA and Bitcoin has certainly heated up here in the last few months. And if we look into some of their histories and some of the technical underpinnings, there are some key differences that I want to highlight in this video in terms of what KASPA brings to the table that's a little bit new. Of course, Bitcoin is legacy, right? It's the first cryptocurrency. It has the advantage of legacy, it has that first mover advantage. And as we know, we're not really in this fully adopted crypto environment. So I'm not saying Bitcoin is bad in this video by any means, but we're always looking for alternatives, right? Alternative investments that could perhaps produce even more gains because, well, they're simply newer. One of those new investments could be KASPA because it represents the wave of innovation that seeks to address some of the perceived limitations of earlier cryptocurrency projects and protocols. KASPA's focus is on scalability and efficiency, and this showcases the industry's continuous drive for improvement. One of the things KASPA is doing is trying to solve the trilemma, right? Which three big issues that we try to solve every blockchain, and it's tough, right? But KASPA is going to do as much as they can to attack this issue. Now, in this video, I want to talk about some of the key differences between KASPA and Bitcoin and kind of highlight the broader vision of both of them. And we'll start with one of the main key differences. And this is the fact that KASPA uses an advanced DAG structure, while Bitcoin relies on just traditional blockchain technology. We've seen other currencies out there that have done something different, like Hedera Hashgraph, right? They use hash graphs and not blockchains. KASPA is similar in this sense, and they use the DAG structure. This video is not going to be comprehensive, so it's not going to go into deep detail on the DAG structure, but I have other videos on my channel that get at that a little bit. And if you're super technical, you could find some other things on YouTube in order to dig into what DAG structure is. But I wanted to highlight that as one of the key differences. Now, one of the big questions that comes up is KASPA more scalable than Bitcoin? And the answer here fundamentally is yes. KASPA's design allows for enhanced scalability compared to that of Bitcoin. And scalability is one of those big trilemma issues that we try to tackle. A lot of the blockchains that are up and coming, that are newer than Bitcoin, they want to become more scalable. Another area where people try to attack some of the older legacy blockchains is transaction fees. So, which coin has a higher transaction fee? Is it Bitcoin or KASPA? Bitcoin's transaction fees tend to be higher, while KASPA aims to offer lower fees. Now, while there's a ton of differences, there are some similarities that I want to highlight a little bit here too. And obviously talk a little bit about what KASPA brings to the table and what we could see both of them do in this next bull run. So if we take a look at Bitcoin, it was introduced in 2009. KASPA, much newer, introduced in 2021. But the idea was talked about far before that. Okay. Now, they both were fair launched, both Bitcoin and KASPA. They're both open sourced. One has Satoshi Nakamoto, that's Bitcoin, anonymous founder. The other has Stan Polinsky, who is a known father, project father, if you will. Some of the strengths to Bitcoin: it's widespread, adopted already, robust security, and brand recognition, right? Some of the weaknesses that Bitcoin has: scalability concerns. As for KASPA on the other side, advanced tech and scalability are some of the strengths. Weaknesses: it's relatively new, and it still has to become a household name and acquire that brand recognition. Now, I will say one thing for KASPA. In the last few months, we've seen a lot of Bitcoin maximalists, we call them, come around and talk about KASPA because they're so similar, right? And this is a great first step. And I think that if there's one crypto out there that can be adopted by the Bitcoin maxis and people who just invest in Bitcoin, they may look at KASPA over any other protocol simply because of all of its similarities and what it's trying to do. Now, regulatory and legal landscape is also something to consider here. So Bitcoin is already well adopted, and some nations are still skeptical of Bitcoin. But for the most point, here, even here in the United States, we look at it as a commodity and not a security. Then you've got countries like El Salvador who have already adopted it as legal tender. So pretty far down that road, right? Whereas KASPA is still establishing its regulatory footing pretty much everywhere. And the good thing is, though, they are taking a transparent approach to legal challenges, right? Which is really good. They're very open to that because of how they're built, like open source, fully decentralized, open source code. Now, in terms of adoption and use cases, there are some differences here too. So far, Bitcoin used for diverse transactions globally. Now, it just depends in what country we're talking about. Is it, more micro transactions? Is it more store of value? I think it could be both. And they've also they've got partnerships with major corporations, right? Already. And a lot of these businesses like MicroStrategy and Tesla make Bitcoin a part of their balance sheet already, right? As that store of value, safe haven type asset, similar to gold and how that's been, deemed for centuries, for at least decades. Now, on the other side with KASPA, they're focusing on more microtransactions where Bitcoin maybe lacks a little bit, and also online gaming, in addition to some other areas as well. And they've got a growing community support that is not as big as Bitcoin yet, but it continues to get really, really ramped up here. And at least it has in the last few months. And I don't see that stopping in the bull run. Now, how about just the overall tokenomics and the supply? Well, Bitcoin's got a supply of 21 million. Their mining rewards, there's a halving every 4 years, and transaction fees really vary on the network. As for KASPA, their supply is much bigger, 28.7 billion. Their mining rewards are more dynamic, and they should have most of their supply out there circulating before Bitcoin does. In fact, they should have 90% of their supply circulating at some point in this next bull run. So, a lot of key differences and a lot of interesting similarities. And hopefully, this video found you well and it gave you a good, comprehensive kind of takeaway in terms of what these both bring to the table. Let me know if this video helped you down below. And I definitely want to hear from you in the comment section. Weigh in down below. As always, appreciate you guys, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace out.